Hello everyone. Welcome to the online revision classes conducted by Anjuman-e-Islam's Anjuman Polytechnic Hubli. Myself Arifa, I am working as a lecturer at Anjuman Polytechnic Hubli in Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering. So today I am going to explain you about the classification of instruction set of 8051. So what is a microcontroller? It is nothing but a mini computer. What the work it is going to do is, it is going to take the instructions or the commands from the user, process these instructions, and then it is going to give the output. So what do you mean by instruction? An instruction is nothing but the command which is given to the microcontroller. Microcontroller is nothing but a machine. Now this machine can do various actions, or it can perform huge number of actions. Now, if we want to tell the microcontroller what action it has to perform, we are going to tell it through a command. This command, we are going to call it as the instruction. So, these instructions of 8051, here it can be divided into 5 basic blocks. Here the first one is the data transfer instruction, the next one is the arithmetic instruction, logical instructions, bit-oriented instructions, and the last one is the branching instructions. So now, let us see in detail what do you mean by these various instructions. Now, let us go for the first one, that is the data transfer instruction. These are those instructions in which the data will be transferred from the source to the destination. For example, here, I think you might have studied the block diagram of the microcontroller, in which you are, you know which all are the registers, the accumulator, register B, all the special function registers and all, okay? So even if you don't know, just have a revision of that and come back, it will be easy for you to understand, okay? So here, the data transfer instruction, I have just taken an example. Here, move A, B. Here, whatever the data is there, the data which is there in the register B, it is going to be transferred to the accumulator or the register A. Clear? Here what actually the work is being done is, whatever the data is there, it is being moved from one source to the destination. And remember, the first operand what you write, this will be the destination, and the second operand what you write, it will be the source. And this part of the instruction, MOV, it is called as the opcode. This is going to tell what the function, the instruction has to do. And these are the operands which has the data on which the action will be taken. Okay? So this data transfer instructions are those instructions in which the data is being moved from the source to the destination. Now it is not at all necessary that both the source and destination always need to be the registers only. It can be memory, it can be internal memory, it can be external memory, it can be SFR, anything. Okay? So let me take one more example. Now, in this instruction, here I have written move A, at R0. Now what does it have? This register R0, it is having the address of the memory location. And at that particular memory location, whatever the data is being present, that data, it will be moved to the accumulator here. Okay? So like this, you are having many different data transfer instructions. So the basic function of this data transfer instruction is to move the data from the source to the destination. The source may be a memory or a register, and the destination may also be memory or the register. Now coming down to the next one, it is the arithmetic instruction. In this arithmetic instruction, as the name itself indicates, this is nothing but those instructions which are going to perform all the arithmetic operations. So I think you might be knowing which are the arithmetic instructions: add, subtract, multiply. Okay? So those instructions which will be performing the arithmetic instructions are called as arithmetic operations are called as the arithmetic instruction. Now how are you going to write it? First write down the opcode. This is the opcode. This instruction, it is going to perform the function of addition. Okay? So what all it is going to add? Add A, #05. So this is the data 05. It will be added with the content which is present in the accumulator. Remember, whatever the actions or operations which are going to be performed, all these take place in hexadecimal. If you want to do the calculation and find out the answer, you have to calculate them into hexadecimal, and then only you will be getting the right answer. Now coming down for the next one, it is the logical instruction. So you have already studied the logical operations in your digital electronics. It is nothing but and, or, not. These are all the, you can go for XOR. These are all the logical operations which can be performed by the 8051. Okay? So let me take one example here. And A comma hash 06. Here, this instruction, it is going to perform logical AND. What do you mean by logical AND? If both the states are 1, only then the output is going to be 1. Otherwise, for the rest of the conditions, the output is going to be 0. This bitwise logical AND, it will be performed by using this logical AND operator. Okay? So this is the opcode and these two are the operands. So now we have seen the data transfer, arithmetic and the logical instructions. Now next coming up to the bit oriented instructions. Now these bit oriented instructions are completely related for one single bit. These operations, they perform on bytes. Byte is nothing but a group of 8 bits, whereas here this works on a single bit. Okay? In the 8051 memory, you have 16 bytes especially meant for bit oriented operations, okay, in which you can assign a complete 8-bit variable, but you can access each and every bit of that each variable. So to operate on those bits, you can go for this bit oriented instructions. Apart from those, you can also have the instructions which can change the carry flag status, the zero flag status, the flag status of the program status word registers. Okay? So all these instructions come under the bit oriented instructions. Now let me take complement carry. You are having the carry flag in the PSW, that is the program status word. So in this PSW, this carry flag, it indicates the result of any addition operation. After addition, if there is a carry generated, then that carry, it will be indicated by this carry flag of the PSW. Okay? So if you want to complement this carry flag, if it is a 0, you want to make it a 1, and if it is a 1, if you want to make it a 0, that time you can go for the CPL instruction. Okay? Or set bit, clear bit. Set bit. If you want to set any bit, one particular bit, suppose you have assigned a complete variable name for 8 bits. Among them, if you just want to set or clear one particular bit of that, you can just use this set bit and the clear bit instructions. Then what is happening? That particular only one bit of the whole byte, it is going to be 1. Or if that particular one bit, if you want to make it a 0, only that one bit will be made 0 and rest all other bits will be as it is. So the last one is the branching instruction. In this branching instructions, you are having another 3 basic types. The first one is the conditional jump, the next one is unconditional jump, and the third one is the call and the return instructions. In a program, there might be certain conditions where you need to just jump from one part of the program to another part of the program. Here, there is no need to check any particular condition. The branching takes place without any condition is satisfied. So such instructions, we are going to call them as unconditional jump. These are S jump and L jump. This short jump is if the jump in the program is being taken within a very short amount of memory. At that time, here it goes for the S jump. If you want to jump from one part of the program to another end of the program, which is very much far away from each other, then you have to go for this L jump. Next, the conditional jump. Here, jump if carry. This is one of the conditional jump statement. The program branching takes place only and only if this carry flag is equal to 1. So this is known as a condition. The branching in the program will only take place if a particular condition is satisfied. If the condition is not satisfied, the program execution continues with the very next instruction in the program. So these are known as the conditional jump statements. So this is conditional jump in which a particular condition is checked. If the condition is true, then the jumping takes place. If the condition is false, then there is no branching. The next instruction after this jump instruction will be executed in the program. But whereas here in the unconditional jump, there is no condition which will be checked. Without checking any condition, as soon as the microcontroller executes this instruction, it is going to branch to the place where the label will be written. Now next coming for the call and the return statement instructions. For this, you need to know what is meant by a subroutine. When you are writing a program, if your program is too big, if your program is performing more than 4 or 5 actions in your program, then you need to divide your program in smaller parts. These smaller parts are called as the subroutines. Okay? This is done only for the simplicity of the programming. It makes the program simple and easier for others also to understand. So a subprogram which is meant to perform one particular task is called as the subroutine. So to call this subroutine in the main program, you need to write this call instruction. Now, once when the subroutine is getting executed, it comes to the end of the subroutine. Suppose if you are writing 4 to 5 subroutines, all will be consecutively written one after the another. If you have written the first subroutine, then the next, then the next, then the next like this, there should be differentiation from the first subroutine to the next subroutine. So to indicate that, you have to end up the subroutine. To end up that subroutine, you will be writing the instruction RET. This return, it will make you to go back to the program where the subroutine was being called. Once you go back there, then the next part of the program execution begins from the very next instruction where you had called this subroutine. Again, the program execution continues. Then finally, again when the next subroutine is being called, at that time it is going to jump to the next subroutine. Then it will be executing the subroutine until it encounters this instruction, that is RET, return back to the main program. Then again it moves there to the main program. So this continues. These instructions which are used to call the subroutine and to go from the subroutine to the main program back, these instructions we are going to call as the call and the return instruction. Now this session is especially meant for the diploma 4th SEM Electronics and Communication Engineering students. I have explained you this. Try to understand each and everything. Now let me tell you how to write the answer exactly in your exam to score good marks. So as I told you, first write the heading classification of instruction set. After that, write down all the 5 basic headings. That is the data transfer instruction, arithmetic instruction, logical instruction, bit oriented instructions, and the call and the return instruction. After that, come back, write down the next side heading, the first one, data transfer instructions. Under this, what action is this going to perform? These instructions, they are going to transfer the data from the source to the destination. If you write so much, it is more than enough. The examiner will come to know what you want to say. Then what is the source and what is the destination? You need to specify that. The source and the destination both can be either registers or memory. Is this much clear? Next, after that, just go for one simple example. That example which you have understood and which you can write it very easily in the examination answer. So after that, come back to the next one. Finish it up. This data transfer part will be over. Next, coming to the arithmetic instructions. In this, it is very much simple and easy to remember. As the name itself indicates, arithmetic instructions are those instructions which will perform all the arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication. And if you want to give the example, the most simplest is the addition, because each and everyone will be very familiar with this addition instruction. Add A, comma, B. You can write it. If you write this much, your work is done for the addition. Similarly, go for the logical instruction. You can similarly write the same thing. These are those instructions which will be performing all the logical operations like AND, OR, XOR. After that, just write example, write one more example, AND A comma B or A comma hash 0, 5. Then the next one is branching. Branching, there are 3 types. This one is conditional jump. It checks for particular condition. If that condition is satisfied, only then the jump will be taking place. Then the next one is unconditional jump. For this instruction to be executed, there is no any condition required. Just when this instruction is executed, the jump will be taking place. Then call and return. These instructions are specially meant for the subroutines. You want to call the subroutine, you have to use the call instruction, and when you will be returning from the subroutine to the main function, at that time you need to have this return instruction RET. Okay. Then the last one was bit-oriented instruction. These bit-oriented instructions, these will be dealing with the 16 bytes available in the 8051 microcontroller memory, which are especially meant for the bit operation. And you can just give an example, set bit, clear bit, then finish up. So if you write so much, then you will be getting the full marks. All the best.